This is John Gold with Tour de Peace. Today is April 17th, Wednesday, April 17th, and we're here in Williams, Arizona, and we're having our first video meeting.
Woohoo!
And there's Ron, Malcolm, Dan, and Cindy. So who wants to go first? And I'm John, by the way.
Let me go first. So anyway, this is the end of 2 weeks, and we started in Vacaville, California on April 4th, and that's the day my son was killed in Iraq, and we started at his grave. And we've been to, first went to Sacramento, then Fresno, then Santa Monica, then
It's hard to remember them.
then Claremont, Rancho Cucamonga, then Palm Springs, then Joshua Tree, 29 Palms area, and those were where we had events. And then basically since then we've just been biking every day, long days of biking. And so here we are in Williams, Arizona. Tomorrow, Friday, we have an event in Flagstaff, and then in Phoenix. I wasn't in condition to do this ride, but I feel very pleased with the amount that I have been able to ride. And unfortunately, after tomorrow, I'll be basically the only rider. And, you know, I think that with so much happening, I mean, we're demanding peace, we're demanding that the troops be brought home from all over the world, that war criminals be held accountable, that the U.S. spends more money on renewable, sustainable forms of energy, etc., you know, stop the persecution of whistleblowers, etc. But, you know, when I went to Crawford almost 8 years ago now, almost 20,000 people came out to Crawford, Texas to be in solidarity. And to us, since Obama's been president, everything's just gotten worse and expanded. And, you know, after in a couple days, there'll just be 3 of us going across the country. And, you know, I think that's pathetic. One of the things we want to do is to end partisan apathy and, you know, have people be activists based on their principles, not on their party, their political party affiliation. So, but today was very cool. I was like struggling up this long hill on my bike, and this lady that I never saw before comes running down the hill at me, and her name was Virginia Kufelt. And she's a supporter of the tour. She was just happened to be driving up I-40. She's from Colorado, and we're in Arizona. She just happened to be driving up. She saw the van, and she has been a financial supporter for Tour de Peace. So she stopped, came running down the road, you know, donated more money to the tour. But it was really awesome to think that, you know, we aren't actually the only ones that know about this and know about what we're doing. So that was a huge boost to my spirits, that's for sure. So I'm done for now.
Well, name one thing that is memorable about this whole experience so far, besides Virginia today.
I just want to say that Ron and I just saw the biggest steel Route 66 sign in existence. The world's largest Route 66 sign made out of steel. We saw it, we touched it, we checked it off our bucket list. No, I'm just kidding. That was, I don't know, there's been so many. We met so many amazing people and stayed with some amazing people, been supported along the way. We saw this guy the other day when we were going from Kingman to Peach Springs, who was also on his bike going the other way, and we were able to share our food with him, share some of our cash with him, and you know, I think that's what it's all about. I don't know, I just think that's what it's all about. So people are sharing with us, so I think we all felt very good to be able to share some of our stuff with them.
Okay. Dan.
Hello.
So tell us what you're doing on Tour de Peace.
I'm taking photos and occasionally writing, having a blast doing it.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
What are some of the important things going on today that are important to you?
Important to me? Gosh, I'm on the spot here. Important to me, So many things: economy, jobs,
Foreclosures.
foreclosures. Yes, wars. There really needs to be more peace. The wars are getting really old and costing us way too much money. It's just a waste.
Name a memorable thing about this trip so far.
All the people. The people have been great. Just outstanding. The supporters. I don't even have words. They've just been so awesome.
Awesome. All right, Malcolm.
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing
Good
really
job,
well.
Dan.
I just took a shower. I feel great.
He just took a shower. He's no longer stinky.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing with Tour de Peace.
Well, I'm driving the support vehicle, the van.
Peace van.
The Peace Van with multiple stickers on it. Yes.
And is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Something important to you? What's going on in the country today or the world?
Oh Lord. Well, there's so many things happening. What I've talked about a lot on the tour is the Fukushima disaster that's ongoing, that is not really on very many people's radar anymore because they think it's over and it's not. There's still millions of gallons of contaminated water pouring into the Pacific Ocean daily, and there's no sign of it stopping anytime soon. That and, well, gosh, I mean, where do you start and where do you finish?
Right. What has been a memorable moment or experience during this trip for you so far?
I think still it's Bobby First's place. I really do, out in Joshua Tree. The place is one gigantic incantation. It's just amazing, from the building it's in to all the art inside. The way that he goes about putting his place together, and it's all about making a community space for creative people. It's not, I mean, it's for him because it's his desire to do that, but it's for everybody else.
Right.
And I think that that's just really amazing. That's one of the biggest things, I think.
All right, Malcolm, thank you. And here we are with the bicyclist, Ron Toppy. How you doing, Ron?
Good, and that's Topi.
Toppy, sorry.
Now he's leaving tomorrow.
It
Right.
happens, it happens.
It took long enough for me to learn your
It
name.
happens a lot.
So what are some of the things, what are you doing with Tour de Peace?
Well, I joined the ride specifically to ride and support Cindy's activism in trying to stop these wars. In 2005, 2006, and 2007, I did my own bicycle ride across the country to Washington, D.C., protesting war for oil. And so when I heard Cindy wanted to do it, I felt I could be a really good support in that, and it's something that resonates with me very deeply.
Can you name, well actually let's just mention Ron built Cindy's bike
Yeah.
for this tour. So can you name a memorable experience from this trip so far?
Yeah, there's been a few. Bobby First's place was one. It's good to see. It's always good to see that kind of community happening and what he's doing there. And we were there 2 nights, and there was there were people there both nights, just kind of spontaneously gathering there, and it's because of Bobby's energy in building an art space like that as a collective for people to come and gather is why that happens there. And it reminds me a lot of where I'm living in Chico right now. That happens a lot. And one of the other memorable experiences was the people we've been meeting. It seems like there's there aren't a lot of people very active anymore. Since Obama, actually it started around 2006, 2007. It's been really petering off ever since.
Yeah.
But the people that we have Matt, they are on that side of realizing that it doesn't matter which party is in office, and they're realizing that. And one of the things that I that I was able to do for myself years ago, and that I talk with people a lot today about is connecting the dots between our lifestyles here in this country, you know, the American dream, whatever you want to call it, and pretty much the necessity for invading other countries for their resources in order to keep that propped up. And more and more people are starting to get to that point where they're seeing that this really isn't a partisan issue. It's about capitalism, and it's about empire, and it's about economies of scale, and it's about, you know, the 1% running off with everything, while the rest of us continually languish more and more and more with little and little and little, and clinging on to little threads of hope at this point. You know, at one time it was a lifeline, now they're just little threads of hope, and more people are at that point where they're realizing that losing hope in that system is what made me happy. You know, I became happy once I lost hope, and my life has gotten better and better ever since then. And so that's the message I really try to carry to people today.
This is Ron's last day with us, so I'd like to give us a little applause for Ron.
Ron.
Who wants to film me? Cindy? Just want to. Oh, Dan.
Dan, he's a filmer.
All right, I know the questions. Why am I with Toward the Peace? Well, Cindy started this, and I've always been very supportive of Cindy for years, and so I wanted to help her through this. I also wanted the opportunity to go around the country and tell people about, you know, the cover-up of 9/11, which has been my thing for the last 11 years. But it's also important to stop the wars, to stop the occupations. Thousands and thousands of people are dying, and they had absolutely nothing to do with the 9/11 attacks. Children are dying, and it needs to stop. And the persecution of whistleblowers, Bradley Manning, you know, Malcolm and I were listening to Graham Nash's song today, Almost Gone, which is about Bradley Manning, and it talks about how he was sitting in that cell naked, and it just makes me it's just disgusting. Our dependence on oil is one of the main reasons we go to war, so that's obviously important. You know, the partisan apathy. There are things going on in this country that are about right and wrong and have absolutely nothing to do with left or right. Torture is wrong. Lying us into wars are wrong. Warrantless wiretapping is wrong. Renditions are wrong. And it doesn't matter if you have a D or an R next to your name. These things are wrong. So that's what we were trying to do. We're trying to educate people across the country about these issues, and it was very important to me to take part in this. And unfortunately, I hurt my hip, so I'm leaving on Saturday, going home, but I'm going to help from home with media contacts and stuff like that. Memorable experiences. I loved Ron and Lexi's place. The breakfast they made for us was absolutely stupendous. Bobby First's place was amazing. Joshua Tree was amazing. And
Tell me what you ate at Joshua Tree at the health foods restaurant.
Oh, I had bean sprouts and hummus, I think.
Hummus sandwich.
Yeah, it was very delicious,
very
too.
proud of John.
And I've stayed away from pizza this whole trip.
Woo! 2 weeks.
Don't show the Pizza Hut box on the bed.
And all the Crystal Fantasy was an amazing experience when Cindy got that award. All of these little things, the people. It's been a great time, and it's sad that I have to go, but you know, you got to take care of yourself.
I have one more thing to say. I'm sorry.
And so Cindy has one more thing to say, so I'm done now.
sorry, I thought you were done. So we were riding from Kingman, Arizona to Peach Springs, Arizona, and I told you already about one thing that happened. We saw the bicycle rider that was going from Orlando, Florida, all the way down to Tierra del Fuego at the tip of South America. Of course, he was skipping from Los Angeles to Guatemala. But, I just had committed to that 50 miles, and it was a really hard 50 miles from Kingman to Peach Springs, and there was like another 12 miles we had to go to the campground. And so while we were hooking my bike up, I got a phone call. It was a friend of mine who told me that bombs had gone off at the Boston Marathon. And so, of course, we all were immediately concerned of what are they going to use this for, to increase the police state or whatever, or, you know, bombs go off at the Boston Marathon, that means they have to bomb Syria or something like that. So then, like the next day, Obama said, what did he say? He said
bombing is terrorism.
He said
no. He said using bombs to kill innocent people,
to target innocent people
is an act of terrorism.
Is an act of terrorism. And so I think right there he called himself a terrorist. And we also found this sign at 29 Palms that the Marines put up that said, "Hide your daughters, hide your wife, hide everybody. The 2-7 is back in town." And so we're taking that sign. We tore the sign down. It was very offensive. We're taking it and putting it on terrorist Obama's fence when we get to Washington, D.C. Because that's just, to us, just it's what his troops are doing. It's what his troops are bragging about doing in the States and what they're actually doing when they are deployed in other places. So those, I think, were meaningful, very meaningful things to me that happened while we were going along the tour. So Obama calls himself a terrorist, and so he has to be put on the terrorist watch list, and that's got to be we the people. So, peace out.